Welcome to Raining Blue and White. I'm your host, Robert. And this is the place where we talk about Penn State football and college football in general. Our main goal here is to cut the ball, be a lean, mean, fighting defense, and as versatile as a pro-style offense. Let's get rolling. Okay, this week of college football and also the spread predictions, everything. Well, let's go into the last week. I'm a little unhappy about Penn State's loss, but that's here or there. I think actually what I said about the game, the keys to victory for both sides, actually failed with Ohio State literally doing exactly what they should have done. Well, Penn State couldn't even move the ball, which is a major concern for us. But let's get into the picks of this week of games I've picked out. And of course, it is a day earlier, but it's also because of this game right here. The Syracuse Orangemen versus the Virginia Tech Hokies, this is a kind of a game that usually I consider as a Big East rivalry. But since the Big East is dead, but I give this a 10 to 20 point spread. You can see it's a lot closer than some of my other spread predictions over the last couple of weeks. Let's go into the next game. Penn State versus Indiana. Number 10 Penn State. Hopefully, what I'm looking forward to, before I even give my spread prediction, I'm looking forward to Penn State actually getting their offense going early. Because last week, they couldn't get it going at all until near the end of the game. They were pretty much either field goal kicking it until the last couple series is when they finally scored one touchdown. Now, I think that was their last series before they onside kicked it, and Ohio State got the ball back. So they need to get their offense going early and fast. There's a few other things we talked about yesterday because we had the Roar Room yesterday instead of usually on Tuesdays. But I'm giving the spread prediction for that one is a 3 to 34 point spread because Indiana is not really that great. Let's see here. Next game. Number 8, Oregon versus number 13, Utah, which in my case, I'm actually pretty happy with Utah because all the spread predictions I have Utah in, some weird reason they cover. I'll be discussing the polar opposite, which is going to be they both have something in common. But in my case, I'm giving this let's see here, a 2 to 14 point spread. This can get really close because Utah has a pretty darn good defense. Oregon has the offense. Defense, it shows that they can't play very well on the secondary. The secondary is just not as good as advertised, I would just say, about Oregon. Because Washington showed that in their game against them, which they ended up covering that spread too. Let's get into the next one. Here we go. This one's the fun one. BYU and Texas, number 7 Texas. The Longhorns versus the Cougars. It's kind of weird. I've had grand total of 4 spread predictions for the University of Texas, and 3 for BYU. Like I said, with Utah, I do pretty good with Utah spread predictions. While BYU, out of my 3 spread predictions, I've only got 1. I'm 1-2 on that. While Texas, I am 4-1. Some weird reason, BYU does not like covering my spread predictions at all. They do not. So I give this one a 3 to 30 point spread, depending on how things go. Meaning they're not having their starting quarterback. I'm pointing yours for the University of Texas today for that game on Saturday. Not Sunday. But hell, it's still Texas and still have some pretty decent players. I've seen a good bit of their games. They're pretty decent on the rest of the skill positions. Defensively, they're pretty good. Offensively, so it's like this could get interesting. But it isn't in BYU's stadium, so it's going to be in Austin, in my home area. Now it goes to number 1 Georgia versus Florida. This one's going to be probably a 2 to 24 point spread. The Bulldogs are going to probably pretty much hang up and mount the gator under their wall again for the second year, for a few more years ago will come, because they're mounting almost every animal they have taken down this year. Next is Clemson versus Miami. Hey, Clemson versus Miami. Oh, that didn't. That didn't make sense. It's Pitt versus Notre Dame. I guess it didn't get okay. Pitt versus Notre Dame, number 14 Notre Dame. I could have sworn I typed that in, but I guess it didn't work on that. That's my fault. But Pitt versus Notre Dame, I say a 30 to 28 point spread. That's the end of all of the regular games. That one was a slip up on that one. Okay, wild card games. We have West Virginia versus UCF. I say a 3 to 21 point spread, and the other wild cards game is Colorado, the Buffaloes versus number 23, UCLA, the Bruins. Is the Bruin Bear going to get ran over by the Buffalo Charge, or is the Bruins going to hop on that Buffalo and ride it all the way back home? So, a little bit, well, okay, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, comment in the comments. Make sure you ring that little bell notification. And let's get it out of here. We are Penn State. And for the rest of you guys lock and load.